Question number 12 says, consider f of x is equal to negative 2 over x and g of x is equal to square root x. Determine y of f of x. So maybe I'll use a little bit of color here. So let's let f of x be the outside function and the g of x be the inside function. And so we're going to substitute g into f. So my y equation is going to look like this. Y equals, I have my f on the outside, so negative 2 over x. And then on the inside, I'm going to embed my g, which is square root x. So in this case here, the domain of this function, so the domain of y is going to be x must be greater than or equal to 0, but it can't be equal to 0 because we're going to divide by 0. So just be x is greater than 0. Okay, and the range of this function, we know it's got to be positive. The denominator is always positive. It is going to tend towards 0. And so the numerator being negative, the denominator being positive, is always negative, and it's going to tend towards 0. So as x gets closer to 0, it's going to go to infinity. So it's going to be, the range is going to be negative infinity. And the y value is going to max out at 0 because it's never going to go above the x-axis. Okay, so that's our domain and range of this graph. And to graph this in, we can make a table of values to help us graph this. So first of all, I'm just going to use my horizontal asymptote as x is bigger than 0. Y is going to tend towards infinity. So we're going to have a graph that kind of follows this asymptote like that. So I've got my vertical asymptote in here, and then I've got my horizontal asymptote. It's going to stay in quadrant 4, and I'm just going to plug in a few coordinates to help me graph this. So I'm going to plug in maybe x equals 1. Y is going to be negative 2. So 1, negative 2. Okay, maybe I'll plug in another number. X is equal to 4. X is equal to 4. Y is equal to negative 1. It's going to look like this. And then the graph is going to go follow the asymptote and then follow this asymptote here. And it has no 0. So there's my graph, and the domain and range then matches this graph.